So, today I want to talk about improving how the audio sounds, specifically speeds, in a lot of things, in a variety of environments. I'm not talking about improving how it sounds from music or art forms, under some clarity of the audio, which is a bigger deal for many autistic people and other neurodivergent because a lot of us have auditory processing disorder, which I'll get to in this talk, which means we don't process sounds as well. It's a big deal in work environments where there might be a lot of noise around. It can be a big deal with some cell phones have very bad bandwidth, so they just can't transmit as much noise, or the audio doesn't come as well through the internet, or uses up a lot of data, or some carriers don't seem to have it well for whatever reason, or your microphone is not the best, so you want to improve it beyond the microphone. A bunch of different reasons. It could also be trouble if you're just learning a language, or people that have difficulty speaking clearly for whatever reason. So, and also here I will discuss a little bit of science. The first method I want to discuss has to do with noise cancellation. Noise cancellation is something that has been applied by a bunch of earphones, and you probably can see it out there. So how noise cancellation works, at the most simple version, is that we have constructive and destructive interference. So a wave goes up and down, and sound waves go up and down like any waves. Sound waves are just compressions of air or decompressions that go up and down. Noise cancellation is that when it gets compressed, I send a sound wave with the opposite. It's decompressed. When it's decompressed, I send something that's compressed in just the right amount that these two waves end up canceling out. So there's no sound. So if I add this, so the resultant wave, I'll just draw in red, is just flat, no sound. This works excellent and perfect, almost perfectly cancels out background noise if you have between the sound that's emitted and your ear, your sound thing is right in the middle and covers up, fully blocks it. If there's gaps in between where other sound can get through, other sound waves, it's going to work less and less well. It's coming out of directions. Until the point that if the sound that's trying to cancel out is not detected by the detector that's trying to cancel out, it will not work at all. So if all the sound is pointed at your head and it doesn't pick up on the sound that it needs to cancel out, it can't work at all. So best case scenario, sound, device, and then yeah. So that's my first idea. The second idea, beyond noise cancellation, is pretty simple too. That is the opposite of noise cancellation, which works better for sound that is already being produced, that is already in your speech pattern. So when you're talking, you don't produce a single sound wave, but a bunch of sound waves that go up and down in all these chaotic patterns. And I'm just drawing a generic pattern. This is not really how the sound from your voice sounds like, but you'll see this on meters, or if you've ever seen like a sound profile, like recording or anything, and how it goes up and down like chaos. They a little modified compared to a lot modified compared to actual sound profiles, but the sound in your background is going to have actually some of these sounds already in it, because they're also going to have a complex wave that goes up and down and all over the place. If you can take some of the sound that goes up and down in your background and matches your voice, and is eliminated so the speaker doesn't make that noise, then you're not taking away anything from your voice, because that voice sound is already in the background. You're just putting that back, and the sound from your background actually adds it to your voice. But this adds clarity, because now what happens is the sound in the background isn't adding anything that distorts your voice. It's not adding low tones on top of low tones already there. It's just adding the right amount. Your voice becomes more pure in essence and just something over top of it. The other way that these two methods can help with clarity is that it's not only about making your voice louder, which is something that a lot of people misunderstand with sound processing in the human brain and other places. It's also about sound complexity. People with auditory processing, which is more neurological than deafness, and a bunch of other things, cannot process complex sounds, and that's a lot of sounds at once as well. It's not only about intensity. Both of these methods make the sound less complex, so it's easier for your brain to process and pick up on the sounds. There's less stuff going on. There's less noise. I would make the analogy that if you look at something too bright like the sun, you can't see it. That's intensity with sound. The other problem is, you especially can't see a little thing. The thing is, if I put a billion flashing lights in front of your face, you also can't make it even if the lights are dim. Same idea here. You can't pick up stuff if it's too complex. This, again, works similarly to the noise cancellation. That works better the closer it is to your ear, actually, or in between the ear and everything. And sometimes this is going to work better than the first idea of noise cancellation, sometimes worse. You have to have a good bass sound, and it depends on how predictable the environment is. The third idea I have is that there's certain speech patterns that are more clear than others, and certain noise that we pick up more than others. It helps with the clarity of understanding noise a lot more. You can see that certain people are famous for having clear voices. The clearest voice is supposed to be like this Midwest accent that's used by news reporters and weathermen, and it's actually something a lot of them train in, which is also why a lot of them, despite wherever they come from, they all sound similar. You can see that sometimes people that have lisps or have trouble pronouncing R's and L's, there's certain sounds that make it less clear. But we can actually program a computer with machine learning or other methods to make the audio sound better. And people also do this for a living already, but program a computer to magnify and lower certain sound qualities that make your voice more clear. That's the fourth idea. This one would not require, unlike all the previous ones, this one would not require the microphone in your phone to be good. This one could just be on its own in any environment. You could use it to expand with your microphone with fancy ones, figuring out dynamics in between the two. For example, that you realize that certain sounds are going to carry more clearly in this room, so you can amplify certain stuff even more than other times in this specific environment, where the low tones carry better in certain rooms than high tones. In certain environments, low tones bounce a lot less around than high tones, so they carry more clearly. So this could even work better because it could adapt to the environment with microphones, figure out what tones carry well, figure out what doesn't carry well. Over long distances, high noises can carry sometimes better, or sometimes low noises. Whistles carry very long distances, for example, or low thunderous roars also carry very long distances. Another thing, another thing about this is it could be customizable in that you could customize it for different languages where different things are important. You could also make sure that percussive noises for some people have more trouble identifying certain noises, like percussive noises. Like this is like a percussive noise when something hits, like d is a very percussive letter. Some people have trouble identifying certain. I can't tell certain Arabic sounds apart. I know an Arabic language, but this could even be customizable for it, and all these things could be turned on and off at will. I would like a dashboard they could customize the settings and figure out how much of each one of these ones. So when it works better in some environments, you turn on certain features, and in other environments, you off certain features. A fourth one is you could have it so it could slow down or speed up certain parts of your speech. And that slowing down and speeding up can help a lot with clarity. But you would have to have a tiny bit of buffer, maybe 1 or 2 second delay between someone talking, and then that buffer, it speeds up the speech or slows it down. Slowing it down, you can hear more noise more precisely often. So there's, please do this. But people are more likely also to get distorted by background noises the longer you slow it down. Or you could lose attention, or it gets so down that it starts getting distorted. Speeding up when there's not a lot of noise can increase the intensity of it. This would be a more dynamic thing, and you would probably want to do an environment or make it a setting that people can do it. But you could also dynamically slow down or speed up parts of the speech. So like on average the same speech, but you slow down the parts that don't come as clearly out, and you speed up the parts that come out clearly. The last one I would like to talk about would be if you had a computer that could give good subtitles to everything. These subtitles would help a person figure out actually what's going on, or captioning. That could help a ton. So these are all just ideas, and people are researching various things, but I would like this to be in a commercial phone as a setting that people could just use and turn on whenever they want. And yeah, well, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Watch videos. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year, which is a really hard goal, but I think it's possible with all your help. And if you have any comments, questions, ideas, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much.